The alien ship, sleek and dark as a shadow against the backdrop of a distant star, slowed its approach as it entered the desolate system. It was the crew of the Xyterox, a research vessel from the advanced and scientifically curious Rigger race. Their mission was simple: investigate an anomaly. A report from an uncharted system showed strange energy signatures, possibly remnants of an ancient civilization. But what they found on the third planet in that system would change their perception of the universe forever. Captain Zikir watched from the bridge as the planet's surface came into view. It was barren, with cracked and broken continents, a graveyard of a world. There was no sign of life, no plant, no animal, no city, just ruins. Yet something about the energy readings pulled at his instincts, compelling him to investigate further. "Prepare a landing party," Captain Zikir ordered, his voice steady despite the unease creeping in. He had been to many ruins, but something about this one felt different. "We need to find the source of these readings. Get me answers." The landing party consisted of 3 Rigger scientists equipped with advanced scanning devices and exosuits. They descended into the ruins, their boots kicking up dust that hadn't been disturbed in millennia. The ancient city they stumbled upon was vast, its towering structures half collapsed but still standing with unnatural precision. At first, the ruins seemed like nothing special, an old city with strange markings like so many others they had studied. But then they found it. A massive, imposing structure deep beneath the earth, hidden from view until now. The entrance was concealed by rubble, but the readings were strongest here. As they cleared the debris, the entrance to a colossal underground chamber emerged. Inside, the enormity of the structure became apparent. The chamber stretched for miles, and at the center of it stood a colossal warship covered in alien symbols. The ship was unlike anything the Rigger had ever seen, a craft of such design that it almost felt too advanced for any civilization they had encountered, even their own. The structure was ancient, but it radiated an energy the likes of which the crew had never felt before. This is impossible," muttered Dr. Kara, the lead scientist of the team, her voice trembling with disbelief. "This ship predates even the oldest Rigger technology, and yet it looks far more advanced." Zikir studied the ship, his gaze narrowing as he'd approached. The vessel's hull was sleek, made from materials that shimmered with an ethereal glow, as if it was alive. The design was elegant but deadly, a perfect fusion of beauty and strength. The sheer scale of it was mind-boggling, as if it could swallow entire cities whole. "Who built this?" Zikir asked, his voice a mix of awe and confusion. He could sense the ship's power, and he couldn't help but wonder how such a marvel could have been left to ruin. The Rigger scientists moved closer, scanning every inch of the ship's structure. They discovered strange carvings along its surface, symbols that seemed to pulse with energy. They couldn't decipher the markings, but there was no doubt in their minds that this was something extraordinary beyond their comprehension. As the team continued their examination, something unexpected happened. The ship began to hum, a low, vibrating sound that reverberated through the chamber. The ground shook, and the energy readings shot through the roof. "Captain, the ship is coming online," Dr. Kara shouted, her voice filled with alarm. Zikir's eyes widened in shock. "Shut it down. Whatever you're doing, stop it." But it was too late. The ship's systems had already activated, and a blinding light enveloped the chamber. The crew shielded their eyes, but they could feel the power of the ship coursing through the air. Then, as suddenly as it had started, the light faded. When they opened their eyes, they saw it. An interface had appeared, a holographic display filled with strange symbols, but some of them were recognizable. "Those symbols, that human," Dr. Kara whispered, her voice filled with astonishment. "Impossible," Zikir muttered under his breath. "Humans? They were supposed to be primitive, insignificant. How could they have created something like this?" The Rigger crew was stunned. They had studied the history of countless civilizations, but none of them had left a legacy like this. The ship, a testament to an unimaginable level of design and power, was clearly the work of a species that was far more advanced than they had ever given credit to. The holographic display flickered again, and then words began to form in a language that the crew could barely understand, until one phrase stood out, clear and undeniable: human dreadnought. A chill ran down Zeker's spine. He knew the word dreadnought from the ancient text of his people. It was a term used to describe a battleship of legendary power, an unstoppable force in war. But to think that such a ship had been built by humans, a species that the Rygar had dismissed as nothing more than a curiosity from a primitive backwater world, it was unthinkable. As they explored further, they discovered records, logs, and blueprints embedded in the ship's systems. The designs were beyond anything the Rygar had ever encountered, filled with mind-bending concepts of weaponry, defense, and propulsion that defied the laws of physics. The humans had harnessed energy sources that were previously thought to be impossible, and their ship was capable of feats that seemed to violate every known rule of technology. How could a species this young have created something so perfect? Zeker asked, his voice low. Dr. Kara shook her head, unable to answer. I don't know, Captain, but this is far beyond what we could ever hope to accomplish. I think we've found a race whose genius we can't even begin to comprehend. The crew stood in silence, overwhelmed by the discovery. They had come to study ruins, to uncover the remnants of an ancient race. Instead, they had found the legacy of a species they had long underestimated. The human race had left behind something far greater than anyone could have imagined, an unparalleled masterpiece of war, technology, and design. As they prepared to leave the underground chamber, Zeker took one last look at the ship. A sense of awe and respect filled him. The humans may have been small, but they were giants in their own right. And with that, the Rygar crew returned to their ship, carrying with them the secret of the human dreadnought, a discovery that would forever alter the course of their history and the perception of humanity across the stars.